And welcome back. As part of our Chamorro Month celebration here at KOAM, we're taking the time to highlight our local talent by way of a special series called Island Music Corner. As part of this promotion with our sister station Isla 61, we'll be interviewing some of Guam's local talent and then giving them the spotlight to perform live in our very own studio. So for our third installment of Island Music Corner, we'll introduce you to 32-year-old Vince Peredo, who for the past 16 years has been entertaining on Guam. He is joined by his lead guitarist, James Cepeda. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming in and allowing us to highlight you. We're always eager to know who our local talent is on the island and make fun of them. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Now, first off, tell us what village you both hail from.
Dedito.
Both Dedito. Okay, okay. Good to know. And have you were raised there your whole life, pretty much?
Basically.
Right on. Okay, good to know. Now, how would you describe the type of music that you guys perform?
Just a mixture of island and...
Actually, everything.
Yeah, everything. We just try to touch bases on everything. But island music, basically, is what we do.
But so, what makes you happiest when you're doing your music? Like,
what makes me happiest?
Yeah.
Just when I see people enjoying the music.
Okay,
yeah.
So really you could perform any type of music,
yes,
any kind of a different type of sound, but as long as it's making the audiences happy.
Yeah.
What makes people most happy of the type of music that you produce?
From the ones that we produce, basically I think what it is when people hear me or hear us play like older music, like old school type stuff, I think they get a kick out of it because they look at us like, well, you weren't even born then, you know? They look at like, you weren't even born. How do you know that song? But you know, music, all kinds of music inspire us. But yeah, so even if it's old or new, I like to do it because there's always all kinds of listeners out there.
And he's also very inspired to write his own music. Tell us a little bit about the type of music that you've written and what you want it. What do you evoke from it? What do you want people to learn from your music?
Well, when I write music, I just try to write like how I feel at the moment. But when I try to write like local music, I try to get the younger generation to sort of get a feel for it. I try to show them that even though it is local music, it's not uncool to do. Especially now, I see a lot of kids like taking their guitars or their little ukuleles to school, and I try to show them like, even though you don't feel like you want to do local music or like Chamorro music, give me the guitar, the ukulele, and I'll show them, look, you can play this, but play something like Metallica. Try to play it on that thing. See, it's almost impossible. So why carry around an instrument or a tool if you really can't, because you like a certain kind of genre? If they're not able to play with it, then they just lose track. So I try to show them that, look, even though it is a ukulele, you can still do certain kinds of music with it, and then they look at it like, wow, well, I guess it's not so bad after all,
And James, when you're playing the guitar, what's going through your mind? Like, what makes you happiest when you're doing a rock song, or what makes you happy?
A lot of things.
Yeah.
Basically how I feel at that moment.
Okay, it's just kind of how you bounce off other people watching you, right? If you see them getting their groove on, you're like, I'm getting my groove on, so right on, okay. Now, where do you guys, if you could thank someone in your life for the talent, the raw talent that you have, who would you thank?
Well, first I'd like to thank my mom and dad, and then my family, because I also have a lot of my relatives, like my uncles, they also had bands when I was growing up. So as a kid, my parents would take me to their little gigs, and then I'd watch them. But as a kid, I never thought I'd grow up doing this. I would just go watch my uncles play, and I would think, well, that's pretty cool. They play and they get paid for it. That's a pretty good job. But if you had asked me as a kid, you think you'd grow up to do what your uncles are doing, I'd probably laugh at you, like, no way.
Did your uncles have an actual band?
Yes, ma'am.
What was it called?
They were called Sunglow.
Sunglow.
Yeah, Sunglow. I had several uncles. My Uncle Frank Camacho, my Uncle David Lujan, Ken Conception, my Uncle Tass. And I still have uncles that still play with bands now.
What other local bands have inspired you?
Actually, every band that I watch, I don't remember all their names, but
Yeah,
the majority of the bands that I do watch, some way or another, have,
Have
inspired me. Yes. If it's just, it could just be that their singer's really good, so I look at them, singing and say, wow, that's a pretty good remake, or I'll watch an older band, and I'll say, wow, they're pretty good at playing that young stuff, even though they're pretty old.
Right.
So it inspires me in all different ways.
What about you?
No.
What are some of the local bands that have inspired you through the years?
I guess everybody.
Pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
He's an all-around guy. That's why you have
actually,
him as a guitarist.
he came from a local band too. So.
What local band did you come from? Okay, tell
Should
your
I?
girlfriend you're being interviewed live right now, so you can't answer that phone.
Sorry.
That's all right. We're going to go to break so that you can answer your phone and
No, I
tell
don't
her
need to
you're on
answer it.
live. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, is there anything I didn't ask that you want to ensure you leave with our viewers about what kind of group you are and what you hope they understand about your group?
Well, just when people come to watch us, I don't want them to think that, well, because we're young, we can only do young stuff, or when they hear us play a certain song, they think that, oh, well, there's only 2 of them, so there really isn't much they can do, which actually is really wrong.
Right.
There's a lot of 2-piece bands out there, or there's even, you can have a band with like 5 guitars, and people think, well, it's a band, but what they're forgetting is that there's really only guitars in it.
So you may be small, but you're
yeah.
a force to be reckoned with. And we're going to see that up next in their performance. Not to put you on the spot, but we're going to put you to the test up next.
Right.
So don't you dare touch that remote, because Vince Peredo and James Cepeda will be right back with a special performance, live performance back to back. So stay with us.